Have you ever been in a conversation with someone who talks so long and includes so many details that you end up very confused about how to respond? Well, the skill that I want to introduce in this section of your training is called summarizing. So listen to this story and try to remember all of the details plus all the emotions expressed, okay? So here it goes. When I got on the freeway to get to work, there was heavy traffic, which created a lot of anxiety in me. And due to the traffic, I was also worried that I was going to be late to work and maybe even miss my meeting in the morning. Well, sure enough, I was late, missed my meeting, and I was walking to my office. My boss passed me in the hallway and seemed to be upset with me for missing the meeting. I thought to myself, I don't even care about this job and how my boss perceives me. I felt so apathetic about this whole thing. And then I get to my office and my coworker stopped by and was very complimentary of my work and was so encouraging that a wave of peace swept down and lifted my spirits. So if you were taking notes, here are probably some of the details that were associated with their emotions, right? So there's this, driving to work in heavy traffic, which created anxiety, and arriving late to work. She felt worry about that, and missing the meeting, there was worry about that. And then the boss noticed that she'd missed the meeting, and he seemed angry and upset with her. So she was apathetic about that. And then finally she experiences this interaction with her coworker and felt peace and serenity in that. So, when a person shares this amount of detail and emotion, how would you reflect all of the content and emotion with one or two sentences? And that seems very challenging, doesn't it? So you summarize and you ask maybe one clarifying question, but with reflective or empathic listening, you generally don't ask questions because that tends to guide the speaker into where you want to take them. So generally, you want the speaker to go where they want to go with their story. But to help summarize and clarify for accurate understanding, I think there are times when it's appropriate to ask a clarifying question. So an example of the story, a reflection of the story would be, so it sounds like you've had a crazy day with your commute and arriving late, the meeting you missed, and to top it off, your relationship with your boss seems a little unsettled and frustrating. What would you say would be the most important part of your day? Well, notice that I said all of that in one sentence, and I gave this person the chance to focus on the most important part of their day without me overly directing them. So when trying to summarize and reflect back, consider these 5 steps. Number 1, try to keep track of thoughts and emotions as much as you can, right? Number 2, when the speaker is finished, reflect back as much as you can. Notice the universal emotion that I used in this example was I used the word crazy. I also used a common thread of her story. Her drive to work, her missing the meeting, the anxiety that she felt. So reflecting both details and emotions are still very critical, but keep it to 1 to 2 sentences at the most. And finally, ask for a focus on content without directing it by using an open-ended question. What's the most significant part of your day? Or for what did you feel the strongest emotion? And then finally, once the speaker focuses, reflect that emotion about that detail again. What she might say is, well, I can't tell you how fortunate I am to have such a friend who I work with. She's such a blessing to my life, and I just can't imagine how I would have gotten through my day without my friend. She was able to empathize with me, and I began relaxing, and I actually found myself enjoying the rest of my day. I'm so very blessed and thankful. So the listener would say, so even with everything going on, You felt a lot of peace when your friend took the time to be with you. Is that right? Even when people are not very focused on their topic or their emotion, the listener can relax because the speaker will bring everything you need to respond. If there is pressure in conversation, it not need be on the listener, because we'll be given everything we need to respond with care and with compassion and empathy. Now I want you to take some time and practice summarizing this long story, okay?